to 2K Sports. You're watching the NBA. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the Miami Heat facing off against the Los Angeles Clippers. And without any further ado, let's head to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew at the arena. I'll be back at halftime.
And we see a while ago the Clippers prepared for the task at hand. Welcome, everyone. Let's get ready for some NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. And joining us a bit later from the sidelines, Doris Burke. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. First, for the Heat, Chalmers and D. Wade are the guards. And playing at the 5, the always versatile 6'11" star big man, able to score inside and out, Chris Bosh. And it's LeBron James, and it's Haslam in at the 4. And for Los Angeles, CP3 at point with Redick there, the backcourt. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the skyscraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. Then there's Jared Dudley, and it's Griffin in at the 4 slot.
Boy, you look at the Clippers, and they clearly are one of the most entertaining teams in the NBA. One of the outstanding team shows you'll see. They have fun, they're up and down, but they're a hard-working group, and a lot of that you have to attribute to their leader, Chris Paul.
Well, Clark, as you were taking a look at the Clippers, they are a fun team, an amazing product so far with big names all around. But, you know, Steve, they've got to work hand in hand to make sure they're always at their best and not take things for granted.
Well, I think it's still a team that's a work in progress. You've got a young front line in Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, great point guard in Paul, but the new additions have helped, and I think it'll be interesting to see if this team can gel during the playoffs.
And so the Los Angeles Clippers get the first points of the ballgame. Here's LeBron, hits the fadeaway.
You know, that's one way he can finish, but not the only way. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
On defense, Miami. Paul with the ball, and Griffin backs in. They double-team Griffin, gives him the lead pass, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Jared Dudley out of Boston College in his 7th season already. A smart vet who knows where to be defensively. He knocks down shots. I like his game. He's a winning player because he does a lot of little things and is always ready to step into his role.
And the first one at the line is good. And for Jared Dudley, Steve, you had a chance to be around him in your time in Phoenix.
Yeah, traded for him. That was the Raja Bell, Boris Diaw for Jason Richardson and Dudley trade. Pretty good deal for both teams, really. But Dudley came into his own when he arrived in Phoenix, developed that three-point shot, but had always been a guy respected for his defense, for his work ethic, and his basketball IQ.
Former ACC Player of the Year.
Well, Miami stormed through the regular season and were viewed as the clear-cut favorites to come out of the East, but it was not as easy as expected. After sweeping Milwaukee, the Bulls gave them a scare, then the Pacers really took them deep, all the way to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Gets it to go.
Such an aggressive attitude he has, no invitation needed for him to take it strong to the basket.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach Doc Rivers.
There haven't been many players that have the physical prowess of LeBron James, and he knows that this is going to pose a lot of problems for his team. He told me the most amazing thing to him about LeBron was that he has the ability to be a force at virtually any position on the floor, from point guard to center. He can and does do it all, guys.
And as always, Doris, thank you. Now here's Wade, following the miss by Griffin. Wade drives in. He kicks it to Haslam. 4 on the clock. Releases. Rebound by the Clippers. And for the Heat, the Pacers were their first real test, it seemed, and they had to survive a win or go home against them. It almost seemed, Clark, to take away any momentum they might have had when they went up against the Spurs in the finals.
You know, it's interesting. When I think of momentum in the playoffs, it doesn't carry over from game to game or series to series. I think each game, Kevin, is really an entity in and of itself. That said, Miami found a way, despite being pushed by the Pacers, and being pushed by the Spurs, both to Game 7. It came down to LeBron James's brilliance, but also the hot shooting of a complimentary role-playing winner, Shane Battier.
They get it back. Wade, a stupendous finish in traffic. Wade's got his second bucket.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
Paul kicks to Griffin, and it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
What a play. The hoop plus the harm.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time.
Well, everybody knows around the league that if you get in Blake Griffin's way when he has a head of steam going, you're going to end up on his poster at some point. So since coming into the league, I think he's become as intimidating a player as we've seen.
I agree. It's just not posterizing people either, Steve, although he does a bunch of that. When he gets a steal and has a free lane to the basket on a breakaway, there's a good chance the crowd's going to see a mini dunk contest from Blake.
First quarter of ball, almost 2.5 minutes in. Backing down is LeBron. 9 feet out. And again, LeBron missing.
Much has been made about the show LeBron puts out during games, but he also puts on a spectacle in his pregame routine. Last season, he and others started pulling out all the stops and dunking in the pregame warm-up in an effort to break a sweat.
Here's Haslam. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And Clark, you mentioned the pregame dunks for LeBron, a devastating finisher. Some have asked why he's never competed in the All-Star Slam Dunk competition. In fact, I say that every Saturday night I'm sitting on that microphone. Why isn't LeBron in this competition?
Wouldn't it be nice? In fact, I think, didn't Magic Johnson even put up a $1 million incentive for him to compete? Yeah, it would be incredible to see him. I don't know. I think it's become almost a chore for players these days to enter, but it would be fantastic to see him out there.
Well, I tell you what, the Clippers playing in the Western Conference knew they'd have to take care of business facing Eastern Conference opponents, and they did. 21-9 against the East, and a bunch of highlight reel plays along the way.
Here's what the Clippers are going with right now. Byron Mullins is checked in for DeAndre Jordan, and Matt Barnes is subbed in for Jared Dudley. Second free throw, no good. And for the Clippers against the East, they had a winning record against every division out there. That's exactly what any coach, Steve, would hope for at the start of the season.
And you'll remember the Clippers went on that big streak in December, and I think the early part of the season they won 17 games in a row. A lot of those games out on the road back east. So I thought that established the tone for the Clippers for last year.
Now here's LeBron after the miss from Mullins. LeBron drives in. Bosch passes to Chalmers. LeBron outside. Clock at 6. Gets it to go.
That's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
Clippers trail by 3.
You know, Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra worked his way up from the very bottom in that organization. I mean, he got his start as a video coordinator, and through years of hard work and dedication has really become an outstanding coach.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. And back to Coach Eric Spoelstra as a guy who got his start as a video coordinator, picking the game apart. Steve, he's very comfortable with the new advanced stat movement, analytics in the NBA.
Yeah, and I've had a chance to speak with him quite a bit. He says that the way they use advanced stats is just as a conversation piece in the coaching room. Their analytics department will bring them various information, and it will force them to ask questions, which is very healthy for a coaching staff to do.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. A different look for Miami. Henderson comes in for Chris Bosh. And Shane Battier subbed in for Udonis Haslem. .110 left in the first. Barnes against LeBron. To the middle, Allen. Back to LeBron. Shot clock at 6. Miami needs to get a shot off. Offensive rebound. Anderson can't get it to go. The Clippers have gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip. Crawford, defended by Allen. Crawford dishes to Griffin, and that one's good.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, I think that could really set things up well the rest of the game. Pound the ball inside and then let your perimeter players play off your bigs.
Here's LeBron, following the basket by Blake Griffin. And Cole kicks to LeBron. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. Ray Allen is on the way. LeBron outside. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Well, probably the right play defensively. If you can't get the block, send them to the free throw line. Don't give them an easy 2.
No easy buckets inside. Force free throws and work to keep them out of the lane next time around.
Free throw good, LeBron. And the Clippers making a switch here. Both free throws good for LeBron. Here's Collison. The dish to Reddick. Here's Mullins. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. It's the Heat up by 1. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with Gatorade, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. And let's quickly break down the game we've been seeing from the Heat, guys.
And the key has been the second chance points. You look at this team, the hustle that they play with, very impressive in that first quarter.
Well, it's showing up on the scoreboard. I mean, you get second chance points like that. It can add to your totals and also demoralize your opponent.
Wade kicks to Allen. Crawford with the steal. From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Gentlemen, there is no doubt Chris Bosh has taken his share of criticism in Miami. People call them, quote, the big 2.5, saying he hasn't lived up to that top billing. But for Eric Spoelstra, he said he is our most important player. We've said that for 3 seasons. He allows everything to work on both ends of the court. Guys, you think about it, offensively, he's a floor spacer and an offensive rebounder. And defensively, he anchors the Heat inside. Spoelstra called him, quote, a perfect fit for their system.
He's got the length factor to be sure. Thanks, Doris.
It was a nice season for former Indiana Pacer Darren Collison last year. Acquired by the Mavs, he stepped into the starting role and responded fairly well.
And for Collison last season, he shot the ball well and upped his rate of scoring and assists.
And it's the increase in assists that encourages me, Kevin. He's not a dynamic playmaker, but I think he's becoming a solid one. And with his quickness and shooting, he really just needs to be more of a point guard, more of a distributor to reach his full potential.
LeBron, he's checked in for Chris Anderson. Collison hits them both.
A lot of people thought the East would be a cakewalk for Miami last year, but Indiana made sure that wasn't going to be the case. What a series with the Pacers using their size and strength to pound Miami down low, and eventually the Heat were able to pull it out, but boy, was that a tough series.
And we play just over a minute of basketball here in the second quarter. He feeds it to Mullins. Back to Collison. He passes to Mullins. Out of bounds, Miami takes possession. And just to touch back on the Eastern Conference Finals, went to a Game 7 where Miami ran away with the game. But, you know, Clark, if it weren't for the heroics of LeBron earlier in the series, it could have been the Pacers that took on San Antonio in the finals.
You know, I was thinking a little bit about two former ABA teams meeting in the NBA Finals, but the Heat managed to steal Game 1, and I thought that proved to be the difference in the end. That was a game the Pacers had and didn't squeeze. But the way these two teams are constructed, they should be seeing a lot more of each other in the near future. And I think that's great for the league because whenever they meet up in the regular season or the playoffs, it's always been a battle the last couple of years.
Nice rivalry developing
I
between
think
those
you're
two.
right.
Yeah.
A good one brewing there.
You got this, baby, yeah!
And the first one drops.
You know, for a long time, people would look at Staples as the Lakers' home where the Clippers just happened to be sharing space. But the Clippers let everybody know that they called this Staples Center home as well last year. And I thought they were a force in front of their rabid fans.
Shane Battier is checked in for Miami. Both free throws good from B.J. Mullins. Well, Clark, as you said, the Clippers really starting to make waves on the landscape here in L.A. as they surpassed the Lakers in wins last season. You know, a big part of that was, Steve, their ability to win here at home.
Yeah, 32 wins here at Staples, and when they got out and ran, this place was really rocking. And this Clipper team has a roster full of guys that can make a play that ignites a crowd, and some new additions this year, new coaching staff. There's a lot going on for this Clipper team.
And here's Crawford. Shane Battier getting his three to go. Good D by LeBron. For Miami, they've gone 2 of 4 shooting the ball here in the second. No luck. So Los Angeles will take it the other way. Crawford drives in. Some solid defense from Battier.
You know, Shane Battier was such a great addition for this Heat team. Really a coach on the floor. And since they added him to the mix, guys, guess what? 2 straight championships.
And that one's good.
The thing you notice right off the bat from the statistics, just his three-point percentage. I mean, it's a terrific number, and it's a combination of things. Good shot selection, his mechanics are solid.
Here in the second quarter, we've played a little over 2.5 minutes now. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Hey, guys. Well, the Clippers owe a lot of their success to how they bonded with team chemistry. Chris Paul said, quote, "It matters a lot when you really, truly care about somebody. You'll dive on the floor for them. You'll run through that screen for them. You really genuinely care how they feel. It just means a little bit more." That was certainly evident in how they played last year, as well as how they interacted. We'll see if they can keep that same fun going this year, guys.
Yeah, plenty of camaraderie in that locker room. Thanks, Doris. The free throw drops for Griffin.
You know, no denying it's been a heck of a run the last few years for the Heat, but you can't help but wonder if the impending 2014 summer of free agency could be the end of it all. The Big Three came together in a flash of lightning, it seemed, but it could end just as fast if one or all decide to opt out.
Byron Mullins is checked in for Jamal Crawford. So 1 for 2 that time at the stripe. And Clark, as you were saying, the trio of LeBron, Wade, and Bosh all have options in their contracts to become free agents in 2014 if they choose to. And, Steve, you have to think that at least 1 or 2 of them might exercise that right.
Well, you know LeBron will, because he's the most underpaid athlete probably in the history of sports. He's worth 10 times what he makes. But it's going to be interesting to see what Miami does here the next couple of years with their roster.
The Heat with the lead. Wade outside. Pass to Allen. Allen left side. And there's another one for the Heat. Closing in on 4 minutes played here in the second quarter.
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise, guys, going into last season when Ray Allen signed the contract with the Heat. He took less money than the Celtics offered. And no question about it, there was some anger from his former teammates in Boston when he left.
Now a timeout called by Miami. And Clark, for Ray Allen, I don't think joining the Heat was just about jumping on a winning bandwagon. I think there'd be some issues for him in Boston.
Well, there were a lot of rumors that he and Rajon Rondo didn't quite get along. Allen wanted maybe a bigger role offensively. And in fact, his minutes went down last season with the Heat, but he clearly fit in well. Came off the bench and really fit nicely with that shooting ability next to LeBron and Wade.
Timeout called the Heat.
You go through the regular season, guys, and set all sorts of records for your franchise and wins and winning streaks and all that. You win your division for the first time ever, your first 50-win season, and what do you get for it? Bounced in the first round of the playoffs. It's still progress, though, and I think the Clippers will use that for motivation this season.
Well, he's making a switch here. Left in the first half of the game. LeBron, he's guarded by Dudley. Stolen by Dudley. Feeds it to Collison. Dishes to Jordan. Left side, Griffin. And stolen by LeBron. And now the fast break, LeBron with the ball. And he's knocked off course by the D. The foul called. He'll shoot free throws.
We're seeing the Clippers unable to defend against LeBron.
He's got 8 points, and he has 1 steal to his credit as well.
But he's done a better job than the numbers indicate, really. I think he's been really sound defensively, and he's helped his club.
No good on that one. Clark, as you said, the Clippers got up 2-zip on the Grizzlies, but all of a sudden it came to a crashing halt. As Steve, they dropped 4 consecutive games, and just like that, we're out of the postseason.
Yeah, injuries played a part. Blake Griffin sprained his ankle, but I think the Clippers were exposed a little bit too. They're limited offensively on the front line, and maybe not quite enough shooting, but that's why they made the moves in the offseason, and they're looking to pick up and make some improvement in that regard. Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball, 2 teams that like to play up-tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were 1 play away from wrapping it up in Game 6, but the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat.
Now here's LeBron after the miss from Dudley. Shot left block and counted. 2 points with a chance for 1 more at the free throw line.
Heard the whistle and still kept his focus, able to knock that down.
And that is not easy, Steve. I mean, to take the bump, to maintain control of your body and put it in the hole, tremendous play.
Free throw good, LeBron. 19 seconds left now here in the second. Here's Collison. LeBron with the block. Jordan goes back up, and the layup is good. Jordan's got his second basket of the game.
Guys, he's actually indefatigable. He never gives in, never gives up on a play, and that's what it takes to be a great offensive rebounder. You've got to be relentless.
And the first half ends in a close one. Heat lead by 4. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
And a fun game going on out in Los Angeles. Thanks for joining us. An impressive start for the Heat. They've been in one heck of a groove offensively, making it look way too easy. For LeBron, it's been way too easy against the Clippers. Shooting nearly 70% so far, a gaudy shooting percentage, the envy of everybody playing tonight. On the Clippers side of things, they're managing to hang around. Outstanding bench production. They've gotten a very nice lift, and that's made a huge difference for them on the scoreboard. Blake Griffin playing well in the first half. He's picked up 5 points and has helped out a bit on the boards as well. Thanks so much for joining me here in studio. Second half action is coming right up. We hope you enjoy the rest of the game.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.